Hey everyone, so today we are breaking down the first set of 1-steps, which is a requirement for our yellow stripe or Bumblebee belt test requirements. So first off, let's just break down what these are. We've got 10 and they're all blocks followed by strikes. So there are two reasons why we do these. First, we are practicing blocking an opponent's strike at us and then retaliating that strike so they can't hit us again and we eliminate the threat. So these help break down different strikes that we can return while keeping it simple with the block and throwing the same block every time. Now, the second reason that we practice these is they are specifically at certain targets. So, for example, we're not just throwing our high block and a reverse punch anywhere out in the universe. We are throwing our high block and then a reverse punch to the nose. And then we'll do a high block reverse punch to the stomach. And so every single target within this set is at a specific target level. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on our technique and our accuracy, which is extremely important when we are throwing our techniques, because we don't want to just be throwing that anywhere because we are going to miss if we just practice that way. So we are practicing A, blocking and striking, which is crucial, and B, we are practicing accuracy as well as technique and hitting those little fine-tuned parts in these. So to start off, we're going to break it down. We're going to get into our fighting stance. So with our fighting stance, we'll always step back with our right leg, just like we do with blocking stance. You're going to start by kind of short though, kind of like a sprinter about to take off on the block, because we want to be able to push off or move side to side. If we're super duper long, it's going to be hard for us to twist and get a lot of power, and it's going to be really hard to push back or forward when we're actually doing certain techniques. So we're going to keep our feet short. You have these little squares at the karate school. You kind of want to be within one of those boxes. So keep those feet kind of close. They're still shoulder width like we're on railroad tracks, or shoulder width. Bend the knees just a little bit. We have our hands up by our head and a slight lean forward. We don't want to be all the way up because that kind of gives our opponent more target area to hit. But if we kind of give it a little bit of a lean forward, now we're kind of scrunching down so that our arms can better protect our ribs and our head. From a side angle, we're here, we have it down. Notice my back is still straight. I'm just leaning forward a little bit. We don't want to be hunched over. Kind of just a slight bend forward. This gives me the advantage of going back and forward. I'm scrunched down, and it's helping protect me better while I'm fighting or attacking or being attacked. So we're going to break down all 10. Every single one in this set is going to start with a high block. Now, contrary to when we practice our blocks up and down the floor, our high block for this one is still the same. It's still going up right over our head. We have that angle so that it doesn't break our arm if a block comes or a strike comes straight down. But it's not all the way straight, so we have more blocking space. So a little bit of an angle, but our ready hand is not going to our belt like it does when we're going down the floor. This is because whereas when we're doing blocks up and down the floor, we're more focusing on our traditional aspect of the art. Here, we're focused more on the self-defense practical side. So if we are defending ourselves from somebody, we don't necessarily want our hand here, because now my head all the way down below my ribs is exposed. So I'm going to want to keep my hand up right at my chin with my elbow tucked down. So now my ribs are protected. I can kind of scrunch down. And I can also kind of come up a little bit if that strike comes at my head, if for some reason I block and miss, or they throw a counter strike. So high block every single time. We're going to start off, we're going to have that high block. First strike, we're going to throw a reverse punch. Make sure to twist. That punch is going towards the nose. That's our first one. Make sure we're twisting on every block, every strike. The second one, high block comes up. My hand is still up. The high block hand returns my head. We're doing a middle punch to the stomach or the solar plexus. We're coming back again. High block, third strike is a low punch. Notice I'm having to bend my knees a little bit more, make sure I twist a lot more, extending that punch to make sure I hit the right spot. Coming back. Now is where it switches up. We're going to throw our high block again, but this time a hammer fist coming straight forward. My arm is still bent on this one, and we're aiming for the nose. So make sure it comes in straight. That's 4. Number 5, high block. This time a chop to the temple. Notice that my elbow for this one is bent, and my hand is flat, like I could hold something in that hand, and I'm aiming for the temple. 6 is the same thing, just at a different location. So this time we're aiming for that carotid artery. So that's going to be right on the sides of your neck where that blood flow is going to your brain. Next up, we're doing that high block again. This time, the signature karate chop. You're coming down straight onto that collarbone. Still making sure we angle those shoulders, like getting full extension, and that hand is still up by my chin with my elbow tucked down. Coming back, we only have 3 more. And these are very similar to 1, 2, and 3. Exactly the same, except we had an extra punch. So we throw our high block, we're going to throw a reverse punch to the nose, and now we're just adding another reverse punch to the nose. So when I come back, we're doing the same thing. 9 is going to be to the stomach, just like the first one. I'm going to high lock, and notice that I'm twisting one way for the first, but I twist back on the other. So those twists are going to be key. Don't cut yourself short. And last one, number 10, I'm high blocking again, low punch, low punch. Noticing I'm bending my knees a lot more to be able to get low, rather than standing up tall and trying to punch down. This is going to give you more stability and more power, because now instead of just coming from my arm, I have my whole hips, knees, ankles, everything is coming into that punch. So really making sure that we utilize all of those joints, all those muscles as we throw our strikes. So those are the first set of 1-steps, all 10, making sure you know them, making sure that you have the correct target sites, make sure you have the right strikes, and then make sure that you keep your knees bent, your hands up, and you have that twist with every strike that you have, as well as keeping your hand up. There's a lot of little things. Again, these are really to help you focus on your accuracy, your technique, and then of course the basics of blocking and striking and getting those muscle memory built. So just really make sure to hone in and focus on those things as you work your way through. Slow and steady wins the race, especially for something like this. All right, guys, as always, practice, 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 and I will see you in class.